Okay, astrology update. I want to talk a little bit about the Virgo full moon that we just had and Pisces season, Mercury going direct. Let's talk about the energy. It's me and the pineapple together today doing this channeled message. I'm laughing because my guides are, it's almost like they're drunk or just like in a psychedelic trip all the time. And this is how the information comes through to me. So it's interesting, developing a closer relationship with your guides and like the way that they communicate. Okay, so Virgo full moon. Here's what's going on. I feel as though there could have been a lot of mental stimulation at the time of this full moon, right? Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which rules our mind. It rules how we communicate. Virgo is kind of notorious for being the perfectionist of the zodiac, for having a long laundry list of things that they need to do. Virgo can be very hard on themselves. They can be very critical, very judgmental, very, critical of themselves and of other people. They can have like a nervousness or an anxiousness, an anxiety when they're not grounded. So the conversation that's being had, we had the full moon in this Virgo energy, and then we had the sun in Pisces. And Pisces can be notorious for going too far in the other direction, for like being prone to escapism, not wanting to face reality. Maybe they just feel things too intensely. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to differentiate like what is their shit and what is somebody else's shit, because they're just feeling everything. So at the time of this full moon, I feel like it's a reset button. It's a culmination. It's an ending. It's a closing out of a cycle, because we're going to start Aries season next. We're going to have the Aries new moon next, and that is the beginning of a new cycle. And so Virgo energy, it rules as well. It rules our daily routines. It rules our habits, our rituals, the things that we do on the day to day. It rules our physical body, our physical health, and our mental health, our spiritual health. It's like a coming together of all the different aspects of the self, and being able to discern between like what is for you and what is not for you. Virgo is the sign that's about discernment, like clear-cut decisions on what they need, and knowing when they need to pull their energy back in, because they can be very selfless. They can want to help other people, and so can Pisces, and they can kind of put themselves on the back burner, and then they end up getting like worn down or run down because they're just constantly serving other people. So I feel like at the time of this full moon, the time that we're in now, coming off of the full moon, it is a washing clean of the old habits, the old patterns. And it really is like, I don't want to say as simple as like what it is that you're doing on the day to day. So it's a it's a washing clean of how we used to do things, how we thought like things had to be done, how we thought we had to show up on the day to day, what our old like daily routines were, how we used to take care of our physical body. Maybe now we're implementing like new daily practices. Maybe we're committing to meditating, we're committing to journaling, we're committing to checking in with ourselves, we're committing to new self-care routines, like a healthier diet, exercise, just committing to these new practices that are supporting us now and supporting the direction that we're moving in, because we have moved through so much with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that happened in January. Like, it's a huge fucking aspect. These two planets coming together all throughout history, that event marks like global changes, huge world changes, and then obviously individually, huge shifts and transformations going on like within the foundation of our lives. So I think at the time of this full moon, the time that we're in now, Mercury moving direct, it's been retrograde in Pisces. And so I think there's been a lot of awareness around our escapism patterns, like ways that we detach and disassociate, ways that we like self-destruct or self-sabotage. Pisces can turn to these different vices, these different coping mechanisms to help themselves to self-soothe. Maybe because they don't have all of the tools to move through their emotional body. So to understand their emotions, to understand like that half of the shit that they're feeling isn't even theirs, and like what they need to do with that. So we could become really aware of different coping mechanisms. Maybe that looks like smoking, eating, fucking, shopping, just distracting yourself, like mindlessly scrolling on your phone. It could look a whole bunch of different ways, but hopefully there's some awareness around ways that we detach and we disassociate when we're feeling too overwhelmed. The Virgo Pisces axis, it's a balance between trusting the divine plan, trusting in something bigger than yourself, trusting in what you can't see. That's the Pisces energy. It's like they're so connected to the other realms. They're so connected at its highest expression, and they're so connected to source that they don't need to see it. Like on this earthly realm, they know, like they feel within themselves the magic that is possible, that they create their own reality, like that they are co-creating with source, with the divine. And so the Virgo and Pisces energy, it's a balance between not getting stuck in like Virgo, not getting stuck in worrying too much and like perfectly planning everything out and thinking that you need all of the information and it needs to look, this exact certain way. But it's implementing the daily routines, the practices that we need to do each day to like set ourselves up to manifest what it is that our Pisces, our intuitive, our intuition is tapping into, and what we feel called to create here on earth. Pisces can connect with the other realms, can receive the messages, and then the Virgo earth energy can ground those dreams and make them real on this physical realm, so that they're not just like in our head, or they're not just in our dreamland, our fantasy land, but we can actually do the practices on the day-to-day that help us bridge that gap. So I think at the time of this full moon that we're really taking a look at our daily routines. We're looking at the old things that we've done, old coping mechanisms, old self-soothing strategies that we have to support us, and it's like a refresh button. Like, okay, what practices do I need to put in place now? What do I need to commit to on the day-to-day that will better support me in this new direction that I'm moving in? And it's like seemingly small things that make a huge difference. It's just staying committed and dedicated to doing those practices, because that if you devote this amount of time to yourself each day, that then you're able to more fully show up in the world, because you've tended to yourself, you've tended to your internal world, and you can more fully be there for other people. You can more fully show up, you can more fully express, because you're taking care of what it is that you need to do to support yourself on the day-to-day. So yeah, and to go along with the coping mechanisms, this has been coming up a lot in the readings and in just my own studying and books that I'm reading. And I just want to share to have no judgment, because Virgo can be very judgmental, right? That's the low road of Virgo, just like judging themselves, judging other people, critical, over analytical, and so to not have judgment for yourself when you're noticing these coping mechanisms, because it's something that you've probably been doing for a long time. So it's going to take time to shift that pattern, but just bringing more awareness to the situation. Like, okay, you're feeling something, it's uncomfortable. I don't want to feel this feeling because it's heavy and it's dark and I don't know how to process it. I don't know what to do with it. So I'm going to disassociate. I'm going to smoke. I'm going to eat. I'm going to scroll. I'm going to do something. So noticing when you're doing those things and just bringing awareness to it. Like, okay, I'm noticing that I'm feeling shitty and I'm going to do this so I don't have to feel that. So just noticing these patterns and not saying oh, you shouldn't do that, or wrapping a whole judgmental story around it, but just bringing awareness to it. And then little by little, we can shift out of those old patterns. But those old patterns were doing something, they were keeping you alive maybe for a certain amount of time. And now that we've done so much work to self-actualize, to heal, to transform the foundation of our lives, we can develop new routines, new habits, new ways that we can deal with life, that we can digest life, right? Because Virgo rules the digestive system. It rules our ability to digest certain experiences. So yeah, so we can implement these new routines, these new practices to help us better digest life, to better digest our emotions, to bring more awareness to our situation, to bring more awareness and presence into our current reality. Even if we fall back into old patterns, which that is life, like we're human, nobody's perfect, we're all just figuring this shit out as we go along. So just bringing more awareness to the patterns, to the coping mechanisms that maybe once served you and kept you alive, but now they're not really helping you. So more awareness to those situations, and then we can slowly shift it. We can slowly replace them with new, healthier habits. And that's what Virgo's all about, right? Just implementing healthy habits, healthy daily routines that fill up your cup so that you can be of service, so that you can help other people. Because Virgo is the sign of service, and they want to serve, they want to help other people. But in order to do that, like, you have to take care of yourself, or else you're useless to the world if you're not filling up your cup first, because nobody else is going to fill up your cup for you. That's a job that you have to do. So, okay, that is all for now. I hope that this was helpful. I hope this supports you in some way. And if you would like to reach out to me for a reading, I do astrology readings, past life regressions, hypnosis, tarot. All of that is on my site at cosmicguidance.online. You can reach out to me there. And yeah, I'd love to connect with you. All right, that's all.